You can keep dancing if you want.
Oh, okay.
It's just recording you dancing now.
Oh, good. Good.
All right, yeah, because it's good. It looks cool, actually.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like the garden gnome.
Keeps my knees from hurting.
Yeah, man.
A little squat.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus flowing, all right.
You can see it now. You're gonna get everybody's gonna go to you want to dance.
Oh, that'd be great. Get the whole line camp here, like.
Yeah. With the torches.
I think some people take the sport too seriously. I think you can't be stressed out if you're having fun.
Oh, of course. Yeah. All right. So the recorder's back up and going again.
Okay. We got targets.
We got targets. Sensor hubs back on. We had a one of the wires was unplugged. Went out, put it back in. So now we're getting recordings again.
Sacrificed a chicken and threw rocks at it.
Yeah. Yeah. A few rocks, and everything is happy. Yeah. And it's still not a Kornsberg.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Oof. So when you pivot on your rear foot, are you also pivoting your front foot?
So I pivot around my left heel.
Okay.
That's my leading foot. My trailing foot is the right foot, right? Forward of the line, back of the line. So when I pivot, I'm keeping, imagine this as my feet. I'm just rotating like this, right? Because I don't want to alternate, because then I'm doing weird stuff and rotating my hips. So I'm just pivoting around that. So my position isn't changing. My natural point of aim is. I think a lot of people, they'll shuffle one foot one way or the other, shuffle the other, do something weird like that, when it's really you just need to rotate, right? And very small amounts too.
Yeah, very small amounts, yeah.
A degree at 200 yards.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Is a big number. And I made that initial move, and I'm like, oh, I did that way too much. Let me stop and do that again, like I know how to. But yeah, little baby adjustments, big effect downrange. There we go. That wind just enough to dry my eyes out, and I'm really high, so I'm going to bring this back foot in, because as I shrink the distance between my feet, it has a tendency of bringing the pelvis down a little bit, and it lowers the muzzle. So that looks good. Double check that before I put another round in there. It's very important not to assume that, oh, I wiggle my foot a little bit, that's going to be exactly what I need it to. I'm like, it almost never is.
So that's balance the upper body.
Yep.
So it's neutral. Any elevation adjustments done by
distance
spreading
between feet.
Distance between feet.
Wider feet, barrel goes up. Thinner feet, barrel goes down.
But upper body remains the same, neutral.
Upper body's always
all the way.
Yep. Yep.
You're in a 2-mile-an-hour wind when it's quiet.
That is just enough to dry my eyes out when I'm shooting.
Yeah. It's just that.
This is this Southern California desert wind. Yeah, that's talking about not accepting less and making sure everything's right. We got 4 good rules. It's don't be stupid, don't be lazy, don't lie to yourself, and don't ignore what's coming. That's what I see. It hems me up, and it hems a lot of the shooters that I coach up. And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, was that really a good shot? Yeah, coach, yeah, that was great. I'm like, oh yeah, really?
Say those rules again, one at a time.
Don't be stupid, don't be lazy, don't lie to yourself, and don't ignore what's coming. Yep. Be smart, be honest, be hardworking, be cognizant of what's coming. Because if I build this position sloppy, an 8 or a 9 is coming with a swiftness. And if I do anything, if I don't act on that, I'm lying to myself. which is kind of lazy because I don't want to change it, and God knows I'm lying to myself at that point. Hmm. 9-2. They are calling a little bit low, so that might be.
Called 9-2.
Survey says
9-2.
Yeah. It's tracking. Oh, I got ammo on me. What am I doing? Okay. I'm gonna start shooting some. Look at how easy it is with this.
I know, it's just the greatest thing in the world.
Pawn at the other
No
side
work,
of the gun.
no reaching over.
It's efficiency of motion, which I think is kind of important in this game.
Yeah, once you took the iron sights out.
Yep, no better. Let's say an X at 7 to just off the at 7.
Yep. Survey says 10 at 7.
And at 7.
Just off the X-ring.
There we
So
go.
it's pretty much on call.
It's like I can shoot or something. Just gotta get warmed up first. So I see taking a lot of dry firing time before offhand. Or really any position. Just get my body all warmed up, get my brain in the right gear to shoot. Hey, diddle diddle, right down the middle.
Yep.
Yep.
It is right down the middle.
To a
That may just be a difference of my 0 versus your 0.
So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. About 2 inches or so. But yeah, it's interesting shooting with your rifle. It doesn't feel that much different to my service gun, but it's different enough I gotta think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Close.
I've never found anybody's is the same as anybody else's.
No, little differences. But yeah, that's one thing with service rifle. That's why the rule book, it's to keep a lot of commonality between the guns. Yeah. One of the biggest things too is just the weight of it. That's the biggest thing I've seen that changes it. Oh, my nose. Oh, maybe right off the line at 6 or 7 and a 9.
It's actually right off the line at 7 o'clock in the 10.
Aha, and that's where those 4 clicks come in.
Yeah. That's the clicks coming up.
Yep.
So that's your 0 with that rifle. Probably, the difference is probably mostly in the balance of where I've got the CG versus you have it on your gun.
Yeah, and the balance I'd say too, I'm not used to. This scope's a lot farther forward. I'd have, I think, mine right about in here.
Yeah.
Just in front of the charging handle. That's why I get real far forward on it. So, you know, as you bring it back though, you know, you kind of is nice.
Well, your stock is further back than where I have it. Because I have it
you got it like
the
1 notch in, 2
the
notches
closest in notch mark.
Yep. Yep.
And that gets the eye relief. So you're a little further back on the eye relief than I would be.
Yeah. Okay, let's go make an X. Maybe X at 2.
Yes, it is an X at 2. Right on call.
Hey, look at that.
There you go.
Asking you shall receive.
Yeah. Yep. That's what, 4 clicks up from my 0?
Yeah, 4 clicks up, and actually, you know what?
You want to take that off?
Yeah, I'll pop this off.
Yeah, then you'll
Give
get
me
more...
A little bit more light.
Yep, a little bit more light. I normally only have that cap on
Just
for
for shooting.
prone position where I
Okay.
want more depth of field out at 600.
Okay.
But
That's
at
interesting.
200, it can sometimes get in the way, particularly early in the morning, because you don't get enough light in the scope.
Yeah, I see that. And not international shooting. I don't like a lot of light. I like it super dark. But turf rifle, you got this nice night forest to look through and get all kinds of it up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's way better. Way
Yep.
out of scope shadow. So that's
Yep, right down the middle.
a little bit on the right side.
Yes,
Still
ever
nice?
so slightly rightish. Yep,
Okay.
good call.
We'll take that.
That's a pretty interesting degree of calling within the X ring.
Oh, and that's the thing. Like I'm trusting that your rifle shoots great, and I'm saying like, okay, that last flash, what is the last thing I saw with the crosshairs? Because I know some people use it as kind of like an aperture sight, and I think we can be more precise as a shooting community than that. So I'm just looking at crosshairs, and whatever that last image of the crosshair before it broke up with the shot, that's what I'm like, okay, that's where it is. Now I'll add a little bit of left or right. If it's moving right, I'll draw that line out maybe an inch or so, because these bolts are getting down there fast. You don't need to, it's not 5 inches. Well, and also part of that too is just depends on how fast my hold is. But it's fairly slow. Yeah, it's not great, but shooting a rifle I'm not used to and all this jazz down here in super sunny Southern California, it's not too bad. But yeah, it's you get a good gun, you can call that thing basically within an inch, or say less than an inch too. And that's what I'm looking for. Is like, hey, does your rifle shoot well? I'm like, well, I want it to be basically right on my call.
Bearing in mind with a lot of people who play with equipment, that's a rifle that's probably configured like most everybody else's is. Balance is a little bit different. Position for the individual shooter is a little bit different for configuration, but that's basically progressive loader made ammunition.
Yep. And it shoots great. We were talking about that on the drive up here.
You could probably shove that in any gun and it'd perform the same.
Shoots great. Yeah, Black Hills Mark 262. Yeah, it shoots great, and I see a lot of people chasing their tail on load development. Like, go train with a scat, train with a good coach. What's the point of having a sub-minute load if you're not pointing in the like, oh man, that's a good aim. It's right on call. Like, you can't shoot it instead of going up.
It is, but only slightly low.
5
so
right outside the X ring.
Nope. It's actually bottom of the letter X.
That's an early Christmas present. That's what that is. But yeah, that's the thing. See, don't really know this rifle. It's familiar, but I don't quite know it. But
Yeah, I've never really picked up anybody else's gun and felt comfy off the bat either.
I don't feel uncomfortable with it.
I mean, you're kind of trying to feel its configuration.
We both have the same geyser rail, same color too, that dark tethered earth. Same UBR, same scope. The height is different. I've got the geyser rail, and we have our trigger set up pretty similar. So, I mean, those are the contact surfaces you have. I mean, you could have a super cool titanium bolt carrier group in this thing, and I wouldn't really notice it. It's actually fairly familiar.
I've never really found that those super cool bolt carriers do anything.
But they're cool.
They are cool.
They are cool.
Yeah, I mean, they look pretty.
It's mental points.
Yeah.
It's that. placebo effect.
Yeah, I'm a knuckle dragger. It's all phosphate.
If phosphate, shoot X's all day.
Yeah.
Ooh, exit 6. Actually, that might be right in the middle
It's
there.
ever so slight right.
Okay.
Not quite an exit 6.
Yeah. That'll work. So is that 4 in a row? That's 4 exits in a row. I think I can do 5. Well, if I'm doing my part, I can keep doing this all day till my knees hurt. And...
Bolt closed.
Oh. Would you look at that?
It's because it's dry and I just changed the rings.
Ah. That'd do it. Oh, little exit like 11 or so, I think, kind of center.
Yeah. Well, you know, 9, 8:30-ish X.
Yeah, that'll work. But yeah, you know, talking about doing your part. I mean, a lot of people, it's, you know, talking about little things for shooting. Perspective, understanding, control, peace. You have perspective, and you can see how all the things plug together with the position, the rifle, and the environment. Then you can start to understand how to, how to move all these pieces, how to move your body, the rifle, where to load up on the trigger, how to talk to the wind and everything. And once you have that understanding, you can really start to control your outcome at all times. And you know, if you can get up here, if I can get up and just shoot X's all day long, that's pretty peaceful. There's not a lot that's going to stress me out. Now, with that being said, you only need X's if you're going to shoot 9s, looking to win a match. But the rest of the time, though, yeah, I got my system, and built my MPA, got my position, position MPA, balance, and that last little cherry on top is execution. So I'm going to take this shot here and try to give you guys another X, and then talk about triggering a little bit and go a little bit deeper into MPA. It's on the line at 5.
Yep.
Yep.
X on a line
Still good. Okay.
at 5.
All right. So I'll talk. Actually, what am I putting that in for? Talk real quick about some enhanced triggering techniques. So, yep, unloaded. So, see, a lot of people, they'll come in and they snatch this trigger. Bam. What happens is that, you know, we've got a fairly heavy trigger in service rifle. And even though the guns are heavy, you're putting a disproportionate amount of force on the rifle. And as you push back, a lot of times you get a little bit of side to side. And I think I see what messes up a lot of shooters is that they get that kind of instant alignment. They get that planetary alignment of, oh, crosshairs in there, or if they're, think of it like an aperture. They go, okay, planetary alignment right there, bam, snap. And when they do that, they put so much effort into that trigger so fast that it moves that gun that much downrange. It doesn't take a lot. But, you know, that's about halfway to a 9 from the center of the X. So really what I'm doing is, as I'm, you watch me on camera, got up, and as soon as I start dropping my head, I've got my finger on the trigger. Thinking this like, okay, this is kind of stage 1. Stage 2, as I drop down, about the time I hit the top of the target, I'll have the first stage pulled up. Now, as I hit black, I'll start to load up. I'm going 20% of the second stage, 40%, 60%, 80%. And I want to sit around right around 80%. And what this does, gives me a very, very clean break. and I want that finger to move ever so slightly. So even if I'm like this last shot, okay, had a little bit of wind, I could have done a better job setting it up. Don't be stupid, don't be lazy, don't lie to yourself, don't know what's coming. I've got a little bit of motion in there, so what I'm doing is I'm loading that thing up. So when I have that like, oh, go right now, I'm taking up that last 20% of the second stage, not the entirety of the first stage. And that is the difference for me on a day between shooting like a 200 with 12 or 14 and like a 198 with 7. You know, it's that little bit, that je ne sais quoi, if you will, that really makes a huge difference in that last second of shot. You know, talk about the hierarchy of important things. You position, NPA, balance, execution. That execution part, you need all 4 of those things, and once you have all 4, it just sits in the middle and breaks clean. But if you've done all the work and then you smash that trigger, it's just going to push it out just enough to be frustrating for you. And that's something that I practice a fair amount in the winter. Even if I don't have time to get to the range or work on my scat, I'll just sit there.
And that's what the scat's good for.
Scat's great for triggering, right? Well, for those of you at home that have a scat or looking to get one, that blue line, it's 0.3 seconds before the shot broke. And you really want that line to be a dot. That means your pointing and triggering is right on. The longer that line, especially if it's got this nice kind of easy loop, and then there's a spike of blue, what that's telling you, get up, because my knee hurts.
You're putting inertia in the gun.
Yeah, you're moving, you're disturbing the shot as the gun's breaking. And it's very, very frustrating for a lot of people. But that's where like I just practice waiting up, and I'm trying to get just to that edge, that ledge, if you will. I'm standing there, you know, and I'm like, okay, breaking the shot, and you jump off. And I'm trying to get that right to the edge. And then when I do have time, I'll go train just that aspect. I'm not worried about the outcome. I just want a clean break. Because when it breaks beautifully like that, you know, it's like 5 or 6 X's in a row. You really just keep doing that all day as long as you've got balance, position, NPA, all that jazz. You know,
so will you do like an entire training session devoted only to
absolutely
that?
Yeah.
Using the scat, watching the blue line?
Just to that. Entire training session just to that. I'll do training sessions where I'm just looking at dropping down perfectly. I want to trace down the center. What I'll do is I'll make a channel with Post-it notes on my laptop screen. And I want that line to drop straight in, that green line to drop straight through that channel and just stay in there. Now what would be great is if it kind of beeped if it went out of that channel, but I'll watch it in the replay. I'm like, okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I want it to come straight down, stop, not go below the figure X, stop right on the X, hold for a second, squeeze, pop, beautiful textbook 10, right in the
Never
middle.
thought about doing that. So just like use just create your own little training channel inside of the display on the scat while you're running it.
You know, and if you're of the idea of coming up from the bottom, you just invert that. You know, and looking at you know, scat does a lot of cool stuff for you. One of the things is giving you your time graph on the side. You can click on the new Scat Pro software. It'll pull up on the side of the screen, and it'll show you time intervals, right? And you want that to be kind of consistent because you really want to be breaking it the same way every time. You know, you go through the pattern, and if the pattern's not working, you put it down. That's the thing. If the pattern's not working, wind has picked up, or you've skipped a step or not taken it seriously. You see a lot of shooters, they get to last like half second before it breaks, and this is like, okay, this is like red flag, green flag, right? Stop light. Like, are you going or are you staying? I think that should really start 10 or 20 decisions back. Like, pick up the gun. I don't like how I picked that up. It goes back down. You know, pick up the gun. Okay, I like that. I don't like how the elbow came down. You know, okay, once I like how the elbow came down, okay, I was off a little bit to the side. You know, I'm being very, very selective because you have to hit all these benchmarks, and then it just sits in the center, and then you just squeeze, pop, boom, boom, boom. Consistency is so, so important, and that's why I see a lot of shooters that they kind of got this very, very close together shotgun shooter stance, and they're up there and they're shaking and pow, and you know, they'll put the gun different in their shoulder every time. They'll smash the trigger sometimes, and maybe they have planetary alignment and it's kind of calm. Well, they'll pull the trigger a different way. So just building up all that consistency in a good position with bone support, I mean, that's it. You know, like anything, there's a set of rules to follow, and if you follow them, super easy, and you get great outcomes. You're like, wow, that's so amazing. What is it? And I'm like, what's the secret? It's discipline. It's having that discipline to recognize when you're on the track to do something that isn't great. And I think a lot of people, I'm included in this crowd, is that sometimes we have to run the little side experiment. Like, it didn't feel good getting it up there, but I can probably shoot a 10 or an X anyways. Pow! And I'm like, oh, and then you get that, like, oh, I was so dumb. How could I have done that? And
I do that.
Yeah. And then so you're talking about service rifles 90% metal.
It wasn't that big of an error.
Right.
I'll keep going.
It'll be fine. I'm a great shooter. I can probably pull this out. When you see, like, the hole's bigger on those shots, like the last shot I took, I'm like, I really ought to put this down, but I'm going to bump up the execution a little bit, be a little bit pickier. It took me probably an extra 2-3 seconds. Pow. And I was like, whew, I'm rolling the dice a little bit more on that one. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, because there's no secret, I think, to it. It's who wants to have the most discipline. It's whoever wins the match knows himself or herself the best. Talking about the mental game, how does your brain react under pressure? And this, when we talk about sports psychology, it's just psychology with the word sports in front of it to make you feel better. Because a lot of us react the same way. We get a lot of fight or flight once we get up here. A little bit of pressure, like the NTI, the presidents. There's an M1 Grand on the line. There's fame and glory. Yeah, right. It's service rifle. We get all these things, and a lot of it's based around fear of failure.
I might have to buy somebody ice cream.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. Or might have to buy them a beer.
Yeah.
Might have to buy them 2 beers. Whatever the case may be, whatever your carrot and your stick mechanism is. And so we get back from that a little bit. And like, okay, I know how my brain works. So it's whoever knows him or herself the best and is practicing the fundamentals to the highest degree. Now, some of that is, we're talking about some different stuff here. There might be some stuff we're talking about that people have never even thought about when they're shooting. It's like, oh, okay, so we've redefined what the fundamentals are. Talking about, do I just train triggering? Like, yeah, it's one of the fundamentals. Absolutely going to train it. I'm going to train the brakes off that one because that's one of the big ones. And I'll have days where I'm not really shooting a lot of shots. I'm not shoot 10 shots, but I'm just here just getting my approach or just practicing my MPA. Maybe I went for a run in the morning and my hips are a little bit tighter, my calves are a little bit tighter. That's going to affect my MPA. These little foundational tweaks, and it might shift my body a quarter degree, and that might be 5 feet down there. It's this little stuff. You start seeing that it's not just, some shooters are like, oh, I just had a bad day. And I'm like, you didn't just had a bad day. There's stuff behind that. And whether you're willing to unpack that or not is up to them, right? Because we all love so much about talking about our shortcomings.
Our friends do, certainly.
Right, yeah. And it's, what did I eat this morning? What did I do last night? Did I have too much beer? Did I have too little beer? Did I have a coffee this morning? Do I regularly have coffee this morning? What's my home situation? Am I getting yelled at? Am I it's not a cigarette situation? Like, what do you worry about? All this stuff comes into it. And, coming from international, like, we take all this into account when you're looking at your pre-training and your post-training. It's like, okay, I felt like this, I might even do like blood glucose testing. Because, if I have a sugar spike, I might have a slump, and that's going to affect me too. Not try to get out there like pounding Monster energy drinks and coffee and stuff like that too. And I want a little bit of sugar in my diet, not too much. But, we can unpack that all day. But the moral of the story here is, everything you do matters. It's all butterfly effect.